welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to build and fully explain a data structure called a Deque. In our case, we renamed it as MyDeque. A Deque is a double-ended queue, which means we can add or remove elements from both the front and the back. This structure is very useful in many real-world problems like task scheduling, undo operation in editors, and handling queues where priority can change. In this video, I will explain every single line of the code very slowly and clearly. I will build my Deque class step by step, explain how nodes work inside it, implement add and removing elements. Finally, I will test everything with a demo program. Make sure you stay until the end to really master this concept. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I define a public class called MyDeque and it's generic, and then this means we can create a deque of any type, integer, string, or even custom object. The T here is called a type parameter, and then let's continue with inside the MyDeque class we define a private inner class called node and private class node. This node class will be the building block of our deque. Each node will store a piece of data and it will have links to both the next and previous nodes. And then let's continue with years. We have three fields. First of all, data holds the actual value like A or B. Next point to the next node in the queue, and the last one is previous points to the previous node. And then let's continue with private node. The constructor initializes the node, it sets the data and initials both next and previous to null because when a node is first created it's not connected yet. And then okay, let's continue with other private node. We declare two references. First node points to the first node, the front of the deque. Last node points to the last node, the back of the deque. And then let's continue with here. When we first create a deque, it's empty. Both first node and last node are set to null. Okay, and then let's continue with public void at the front. This method adds a new element to the front of the deque, and then we create a new node with the given data, and then deque is empty or not. If the queue is empty, we set to first node and last node to point to this new node. And if the queue is not empty, we link the new node to the current first node and we update the first node to be the new node. And this method adds a new element at the back of the queue, and then public void. Let's continue with public void add to back. The logic is very similar to add to front, but we connect at the other end. And let's continue with remove front. This method removes the first element and returns its value. And if it's empty, we simply return null. And then if we save the data, move first node to the next node and update the link properly. Okay, and then let's continue with remove back. This removes and returns the last element. And then let's continue with get front and get back public method. These methods just retrieve the value at the front or back without removing anything. And then let's continue with is empty. A simple check if both first node and last node are null, the queue is empty. And then let's continue with last method, the clear. This method clears the entire queue by breaking all link. And then okay, here has main method and a running method. And then let's explain. We create a simple class to test our MyDeque. The main method will run our test. We create a new MyDeque is here, the queue that will hold strings, and then we add elements at both the front and the back, and then we display the elements at the front and back, and then we remove elements from both sides and print them, and then we check the update front and back, and then finally we clear the queue and check if it is empty. Okay, let's now run the code and carefully walk through the output. Let's running. First front is C. First the front elements is printed as C. Remember we added C to the front after A, so C is now at the front. The back element is D. D was the last item we added to the bag. And then now when we remove from the front, it removes C, which is exactly what we expected. And then similarly, when we remove from the back, it removes D. So now the DQ contains only A and B. After the removals, when we check the front again, it's A and the back element is B. After we call the clear method and then check if the queue is empty, it prints the queue is empty because we removed all the elements. And then okay, all right, that's it for today. In this video I implemented a custom double-ended queue called MyDeque. We built a private node class for linked elements, and I added methods to add remove peak, clear and check empties, and tested all operations with a demo class. And then okay, I'm checking if I forgot any method to explain that, then I will explain. Okay, that's enough for today. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a good day. Bye bye.